There we go. Hi, friends. This is Caitlin. I am not sure why I can't get my face forward camera working, but I'm here. Hi. Sorry about that. Sorry for the black screen at the beginning. It's got to be something new every time. They're just keeping me on my toes. But I am happy to see everybody. I saw lots of chit-chatting happening in the comments. I love it when you guys get to catch up. Um, Melissa, I am so sorry about your grandma. Um, I hope you're doing okay. I see Helene and Peggy checking in, Virginia. Let's see, Miss Susan's here, Connie. Yeah, it looks like for right now, that's all the comments. So yeah, I have, sorry, my phone's just like in the middle. I was trying to get it to connect. So love that for me. I didn't, spoiler alert. All right, this is the featured product for tonight. This is what I'm excited to share with you. I haven't practiced, I haven't, used it yet. I haven't watched anyone else use it yet. So I think this one's going to be really fun. These come as a set. So you get the dies and stamps together. This is the layer cake dies and stencils. Sorry, stencil, not stamp. Let's see, I see Lori checking in. Darcel's checking in. Perfect. All right, so we get our normal, what are you? Most pink and mean stamps are not 6x6. This is 6 1/4-ish by about 8 1/2. And they all come with the little binder tabs. I don't know if we've talked about this in a while, but Pink and Mean also has, where are you? I'm just a mess. My desk chair is broken too. So I'm over here in a kitchen chair. Pink and Main has these binders, and you can get, they sell the little envelopes that you can get that snap in there. But if you're looking for a really great way to store your Pink and Main stencils, they also line up, and you can have a binder with all of your Pink and Main stencils in there if you need it. I think that's something we haven't talked about in a while, but they're really fun. You can see I keep scraps in here, like all my glitter scraps, and then some, scraps by brand, Halloween scraps. So those are in there. Keep my stencils all together. Oh, goodness. Lori's saying there's two voices. There shouldn't be. I only have one camera hooked up. Let's see. I don't see anyone else having that comment. If anybody else can hear me doubled, let me know if there's like an echo. Susan says she has 7 of those binders. That's crazy. What do you have in there? Use it for scraps or stencils? What are we doing? All right, Melissa said sounds okay for her. Lori's on Facebook. I wonder if it's a Facebook thing. All right, we're going to just start by die cutting all of our pieces. I have no idea if we're using all of our things. I didn't think that far ahead, to be honest. I don't think I want the fruit on there. Hey, Karen. But the little like stars is cute. The candles are cute. I think the little like whipped cream is really cute. And the whipped cream could be cute like across. But we also have our stencil. So let's just start with that and see what happens from there. Yeah, I think this one's going to be really fun. Marcel said, just one, Caitlin. Just one. I've had like a little bit of a roller coaster of a week so far. So feeling a little scattered already, and that was before the random camera technical difficulties. But I think this cake will be very fun. All right, so we're gonna run that through our die cut machine, my Big Shot. Oh, I didn't even realize the little star is like a second layer. That's cute. I also didn't realize that the cake was going to come out in separate layers. That's fancy. Very interesting. There's the paper. Let me see how they layer this. Yeah, so we layer it with a little overlap to it. That's pretty cute. Okay, fun, fun. All right, so now when we're looking at these, we have all of these different pattern options. We could probably make a couple of these too and then pick our favorite. I personally think I'm a fan of the drips or the scallops, but they're all pretty cute. I think I want to try drips to start. Um, what's the best way to do this? I think we could probably just washi tape it into place, right? I'm going to add some washi tape to the back of my little cake layer and then line the stencil up. Give it a good squish down. I think it's supposed to down. You could also kind of play with reversing it if you wanted to. Oh, you know what? I'm wrong. I want to combine, I forgot that. I want to combine ink blending and Copic coloring, or we cut this from Ice Rink. So let's do Olo coloring. But let's color in our cake a little bit first, and then we will ink. So I'm going to add some of my 7.3 to the outer edges, and then bring that in with some 7.1. That, and then just some 0. That was an interesting thing it did. Pushed all of that color out. All right, so there's one layer. I feel like now this is going to go together too quickly. Like this is such an easy set. I'm used to our like intricate die sets being, you know, they're not hard, but they definitely take some fiddling and some time. This one feels like we're gonna snap and it's gonna be together. We can always make our card and then make some bonus cakes if we have time. Zero. Last one. Ooh, not that one. Karen, yeah, I'm really surprised. I thought the cake was going to be one piece, or I kind of wish there was like a base solid piece and then the little pieces. Um, it might be a little easier to assemble, but I get that it's kind of cool that you can make it only two tiers if you want, right? You could have like that be your whole cake, or just do like the little and the medium. You can kind of make them, really squat if you wanted, and like really overlap them. So it definitely gives you more versatility if we're the ones in control of how they're going together. Okay, so there's our cake. Now, I just think that that's going to be a lot easier for me to, a easier way for me to color it than me trying to get in there and ink the whole thing and then also ink the drips. There's nothing wrong with that, but I thought it would be fun to try out. Now, I will say that there's overhang, and because I'm going to ink, I'm going to come in with a little bit of my Heavy Doodle, like extremely low tack tape, and I'm just going to cover that bottom edge. Well, not that part. It's going to mess up my inking. Come on, man. Make me look silly. Okay. You know what? I get to make a card. I get to craft. I'm lucky. I don't have to get frustrated. It's just sticky tape. There we go. Okay, I do want to use some really bright and fun colors when we actually make our card. So I think I want to bring in a color for the icing on the cake versus just going like chocolate. And I picked this set because I want to use like a cover die, and so I thought it would be fun to have like some kind of like tone on tone, or even like, blue and pink and then just pink on the outside or reversed. Thought that would be fun. Like, or the oranges. The orange could be fun. I kind of like the oranges. So there's little yellow spots in here. So maybe some yellow. Let's do construction and see how that looks. A little yellowy orange in between. If this isn't bold enough, you can always change it up on each layer too. Oh no, I think that looks really fun. We might still change it up and do like alternating, but look how cute that is. And you can see how, because we colored first, that shading around the edge kind of reads through that ink. And so we get some like built-in shading. Hey, Judy and Sherry. Who else did I miss? Michelle's here. I think I saw Karen was here checking in. Brennan's here. Let's see. Miss Darcel's here. Jana. I said, can't have too much cake. I think technically you can. All right, I think I'm caught up. I think I want to do um, orange for the top and the bottom, and then like a yellow for the middle. So that's how this goes. It's like slightly curved, yeah. So let's add our tape to the top again, and we'll get our top edge lined up. And I don't know why I stressed about putting that under. Just put it over. Oh my goodness. It can just go over your plastic. It didn't need to go under. There's our little orange top. And then let's clean this off and we'll borrow the yellow from our distress inks. Just a little spritz of water because the Pink and Main inks are water-based, so you can thin them down or clean them up really easily. That's neutral. I guess squeeze lemonade. It might be too bright, but we'll try. I won't put everything else away yet, just in case. What did I do with my washi? So let's line up our middle piece. Washi on the back. I'm making sure my stencil is like just above my cake piece. Can you see there's that little gap at the top? And that's just to make sure that I don't end up with like a line on my cake. We can just do this one so I don't have to get up. Look, I forgot my little mask. Tuck that back on top. Oh, I think that's perfect. And you could do all one color. You could do 3 different colors. You could do the drips and other shapes, I bet, from the stencil, like the little dots. Right? The dots are just like cute. Those are fun. Okay. There's our cake. Now we need our cake stand. And there's our little accessory bit. And our candles. A little whipped cream for the top, maybe. Maybe we don't need it. I don't know yet. I kind of just had like a general layout in mind for this card, as far as like where things were going to live on the paper, and less, what they were going to look like till they got there. All right. For our little stand, let's go silver. I'll grab some cool grays. start with my shadows on the outer edges. And then just kind of oh my gosh, words. I really don't have the word for that. Oh my God. Mimic, that's not the word, but mimicking the little outer edge shapes through that middle section. And again, you can see I'm not being super tidy. That was 5. Then we'll go to CG3 and start pulling this in. And normally these cool grays get tricky for me because they do lean a little purple, but because we're using the orange, I think like a little hint of purple is going to be kind of cute and help it pop. That. And then a little C0. We're going to skip C1 because I want a nice high contrast. There we go. And once we blend it all out, we just get some nice little detailing without us having to be super careful. It was just like sketching it in. Okay, for maybe we'll wait on a second on assembly till we get our like actual base going, just because I want to be sure of the height. But that's at least the direction we're headed in, which I think is adorable. And I'm thinking maybe whipped cream, although it feels like it needs more than one. Maybe just the candles. Maybe just the candles. All right, speaking of the candles, I have them here. The flame bits are still stuck in the die. I think we just stay on target with, everything that's going on. And we'll go in with some 024. If we're going to skip out on the extra stuff, I think we can do all 3 candles. And then maybe we'll do like some white stripes. It's not a very big jump, is it? There's a darker. There we go. And then we need a little flame. Go. Just pop them back in. I don't want it to be the exact same yellow and orange, so we'll just kind of switch it up. So we'll go, instead of the 2s, we'll go 1.2 at the base. And then to also switch it up from the yellow, we'll go 1.1 from the top to kind of meet there in the middle. But yeah, this is definitely a good one to keep in mind if you need a card and you want to do a die cut situation. That's not a million little pieces, or doesn't have to be at least. Rude, let go. All right, I just added my little stripes with a white gel pen. Okay, let's use a dot runner. I have my little background papy panel. And we'll get the little flames popped on the top. Or you can do these with liquid glue. Look how stinking cute. A little candle. I know I've seen people talking about like cutting all of their little die pieces with paper that's on full stick, basically making like stickers for themselves. And Pinkamene does have like the full stick double-sided sheets. So you can also do that if you don't want to have to worry about adhesive or little fiddly things. There's definitely some little tricks and loopholes that you can use. I'm going to save these just in case, but I'm pretty sure we're not going to use them. And let's prep the rest of our card. I'm thinking I want the big circles behind the cake and then the butterfly as our cover. And I forgot to add this die set to the description, but this is the die that I want to use when I'm saying like the cover. That's why we're going to use this top one. And this is from the Fancy Frame die set. So I'm going to cut our cover from the butterflies. That's going to go on the front. Trim this down just a little bit so it looks for my big shot easier. And then we'll trim down our floral. My tape shifted and this is not going to be straight now. This is the fun part about this die is you always get this beautiful stitched like leftover piece if you're using it for the frame. But how fun is that now we have like that bonus piece or whatever. Maybe we'll do that with our second cake. Maybe that's how we'll wrap this up. We'll use our other butterfly piece with our second cake. All right, let's trim down our flowers. And I'm going to cut this to be just a little bit less than full size so that we're not panicking about it fitting, like it'll give us a little bit of room for error, I'll say, under our frame. So just like a 1/16 of an inch smaller. And let me grab an actual card base to assemble this on. Good. Got a little too zoomed in there, huh? Here's our handle for our card. We'll add our, here's my, My runner just like doesn't want to stick to anything. And I was thinking about popping it up with like some really thin foam. So let's, before we actually adhere it, the other thing is we need to figure out where sentiment is going to go. And if that's going above or below. I'm thinking below because that with the little candles at the top, like that looks pretty cute, right? Like that. So we need to figure out a little banner situation for our sentiment. And I haven't picked which one, but I know it's going to be from the sprinkles on top. Have a sweet birthday. That is looking really cute because I like how the sweet is centered and it might fall really cute in between and like balance out that sentiment or that shape. I think that's the one. But I am going to have to put this in like a banner or something or cut a strip for it because this doesn't have coordinating dies. But that's fine. We can make a little situation for it. Look, I still have this from our cake. Let's stamp this up in our Misty. Try to get it pretty straight and pretty close to the top so that that's one side I don't have to trim. And when I'm looking at my Misty, it's so dirty, I'm sorry, but there's this one line here, the engraved line that goes straight through, and I'm just checking like here, it's at the bottom. I don't even know if you're gonna be able to see it. It's at the bottom of that A, and then on this side, on the birthday, it's at the bottom of that A. So those little, just trying to pay attention to that and not worrying about, because there's different sizes here, not worrying about looking at the whole thing. Just find the same letter or similar letters on opposite ends, and if they match up, then you're golden. I'm going to try to stamp this with construction ink, and we can go like full monochromatic, almost tone on tone card. I think this ink pad needs to be re-inked. Here we go. That looks very nice and legible. And that's why I love it, but it's not like a pure yellow. The more you stamp it, the more orangey it gets and the easier it is to read. All right, so let's start by slicing it across the bottom. And then we can figure out so I didn't put it with enough room to go across. So that's not even an option. So what I'm going to do is line up the little part of my H, the outer, sorry, wrong way, the outer edge of my H. I'm going to line up with the inner edge here of my plastic guard piece and cut that. Then when I turn it, I'm going to line up the outer edge of my Y with that same piece. And that should get me a pretty evenly centered, spaced little banner. And now we can assemble our cake. So we're going to bring in some different foam from Simon Says Stan. This is their extra thin, super thin foam because I just want that frame to have a tiny little pop versus if we used Pink and Main foam, like it's like double at least the width. So we're gonna shout out Heidi over at Simon, who is a friend of Pink and Main, to be sure. And these are bigger. I'm just cutting some of them in half just to help everything stay a little bit more evenly popped. Hey, Sherry and Dawn and Mom. Yeah, these are very fun. These large florals just give me like very fun, like 60s, 70s vibes. They're very Brady Bunch. All right, that's upside down. Let's get this hinge edge figured out first. Here we go. So that just gives just like a little pop, enough that we can tuck it, and we're probably not going to end up tucking anything anyway, but there you go, like we could. I think we'll let it just go straight across. There's this is not the T ruler I want. This still has like a little wiggle room. You can see I haven't pressed down. So I'm going to take the T ruler and just make sure that this looks pretty straight before we squash it. Okay. And then now from there, we can work on building our cake. Pull out the little adhesive paper. And I want my cake stand resting right on top of this banner, I think. Touching down probably wasn't the best. That's okay. We just run a finger right behind it. And for this one, I'm not going to add tape runner to the very top. So that way, when I go to add in my next layer, I can pop that behind a little easier. Right, so this top edge is not adhered fully down. So then I can take my yellow layer, repeat the same thing, just leaving that very top edge open. And I did the same thing with that top layer because we're going to come in with those candles. Which I now magically only have 2 of. Oh, goodness. What could I have done with it? What could it, there it is. I was going to say, what could it be stuck to? There it is. All right, we'll start with the middle. Our yellow one's going to go first. Go. And that way we can add the orange to each side and have it be a little bit centered. They don't stand out the most because the background is a little busy, but in person, I think you would definitely be able to see them. How stinking cute is that? Maybe with like a little touch of gloss, and that would help them stand out a little bit extra too. There we go. So those will end up clear and shiny, and I have a sweet birthday cake. It's all set. I think that's so sweet. Have a sweet birthday. All right, let's play around with at least one more cake. A cake that we would put on this. Let's have another one of these. Oh no. Okay. Everything's fine. Everything's fine. Let's get, I don't know if we're going to make a whole separate card. We'll see. But we'll at least make this second cake. Put that there so it stops not being able to focus. Because also, same. All right. This time, let's do, oh, I really want to play with that little star. So maybe this time we'll do 2 more whipped creams. We'll do a little trio of whipped cream with our star at the top. And we'll do a gold cake stand. Right, 2 similar cards, but not the same. Come on. Let's do one more time. Okay. All these little pink parts back, stand. have our stencil. This time, what if the cake is like a yellow and the icing is like a chocolate? So we'll do YO 2.2. Pull that color in. And a 2.0. Or orange. Because if we're doing a different shape and not drips, it doesn't even have to be like a chocolate. It could be, we could do like orange hearts. Okay. Same thing, YO 2.2 and 2.0. Go back in with the 2.0. Knock those edges down just a little. It's a little too high contrast for me. We had a busy day at work. We launched our academic dated planners today. The ones that run from July to July, 2025 to 2026. Those released today. So we had a very busy day. And then there's only 10 of us on the team. One of my coworkers is pregnant and she's due next month. So we had a little surprise baby shower for her today. And we picked today before we knew that it was going to be launch day, which made for a very interesting day, but it was good. It was nice to have a reminder to take a second in the middle of all the craziness and, like, remember why we're there and what we're doing and celebrate her. That was a little Y 8.7. Then I'm going to jump to YO 2.5. We'll see how this gold, bronze, whatever we end up with, how this turns out. I have no idea. Same placement as the silvers. Now we're going to switch to that 2.3. Yeah, I think that could work. Maybe a little more bronze than gold, but I think the idea is there. The trick is that Y 8.7, because it looks like a really weird dingy brown yellow, but that's what's going to get you that definition and contrast. Hey, Melissa. Melissa, I wouldn't say that one is better than the other between Olos and Copics. They're just different. The Olos, I think, blend a little easier. You've got a little more time to work with them. But they're still growing their color line. I think once their color line is fully filled out, I think it's going to be amazing. There's still a couple things that I hope are on the way when it comes to their colors, but that's true for me of Olos too, and they already have way more out, and I still feel that way. Olos will let you get, or sorry, Copics will let you get a little more detail for right now, but Olo's supposed to be working on a precision tip. So it just kind of depends on where you are in your coloring journey or what you're coloring. There are certain things, scene pieces, scene elements that I color that I feel like I couldn't color with my Olos. I just couldn't. These swirls are kind of fun. I like the swirls better than the dots, I think. Or do we like scallop? I think I like these little loops. But for more open space, like open space things like these cakes, the Olos are a little easier because you can swipe on your color a little faster. Okay, putting in this bottom little card, just like we did before. We're gonna stick with construction, I think. Yeah, Darcel said swirls too. Yeah, that is really fun. Okay, we're gonna repeat that. Our middle piece. This is so cute. All right, last one. And I don't know what I did with that individual star, so we'll probably just color in the star on our little sparkler wand, whatever it is, for the top of our cake. I think that'll be fine. I added just the tiniest little bit of kind of off-white tan shading to one side of the whipped cream dollops. I think I'm going to leave the stick part white and grab one of the fun yellows that we used before. That was Y2.3. Then I'll come in with just the tiniest bit of YO 2.5, which we used on the stand too, just to dot in a little bit of color on the edges, just because there's so much going on and everything else. I feel like if we left it plain, it would look flat, but that just gives it like just the littlest hint. All right, So now we can assemble our second cake. And because I'm assembling this not on the paper, but out in the air, I can just add the tape where I want them to overlap. Where last time we basically did it the reverse way, right? Because it was going on that paper. Look how fun that is. All right, but for these guys, I think I want them. I'm going to do the same like I did with the candle, where I'm going to lay down the middle one first. And he's going to go on top of the cake, like in front of. See how he's in front? The other ones are going to go on the back. So I'll just add a little bit back here. And these will go behind. I think, I don't know, straight in the middle looks, I don't know, it looks like too perfect to me. Kind of like it on an angle, but maybe like straight in the middle if it's low is cute. Let's do that. Get better. And now all of this will go. All of this needs tape. Here we go. I think that's so cute. Maybe they're meringues. Whatever. They're cute. And then I'm not going to do it, but your sentiment could go down here. You pop it, on your card front. Adorable. So there are our 2 cakes. Same stuff, just, a little different, a little unique. But I really love them. I love them both. I think they're really fun. I really kind of wish that I had put the gold or bronzy base on this one, though. I think it would have fit the vibe a little better than the purple contrast. But you guys let me know what you think. If you're watching this in the replay, you let me know what you think. Thank you. I love that you guys are loving the gold stand. Oh, Darcel, I'm so glad that you're coloring. It doesn't have to be stressful, I promise. It's just lines on paper, and you'll learn how to manipulate them and change the shape and your pressure so that they look the way you want them to look. But I know you can do it. All right. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with me. I will try really hard to get my camera situation figured out for Thursday again. So that I can, well, I can't really see you either way, but so that you can see me. But yeah, thank you so much for coming to hang out with me. I will see you guys back here on Thursday at 8:30. I have no idea what we're going to do. So if you have a request, please let me know. Put it in the comments. I'll go back and check. And I did, in fact, get my April release in the mail today. So let me just tell you, that it's going to be a great spring for us. So I'll see you guys back here on Thursday. Thank you so much. Be good tomorrow. Have a good day. Stay safe, and I'll see you guys back here soon. Until next time, happy crafting, guys. Have a good night.